Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody had a nice and safe weekend. We just heard two fabulous speeches, and I hope to continue the trend with mine. To start off, I need a quick consensus. Please nod your head if you know the general history of the U.S. George Washington was the first president, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and we won the majority of wars that we've been in. But how many of you know that part of his history continued to repeat itself? I will discuss three prominent waves of racially motivated imprisonment and the type of facilities that they use. I will focus on three racial and ethnic groups. First, I will touch on the concentration camps that held the Native Americans, then discuss the Japanese internment camps, ending with an overview about the South American immigrants in detention centers. I'm a sociology major who has studied race relations, and I plan on studying that as I enter my degree in demography. I have done extensive numeric and contextual research on how racial tensions throughout history impact society. In the same way 80s fashion makes a comeback, so do imprisonment camps. The first type of imprisonment camps that were established were concentration camps. They are guarded compounds for the imprisonment of foreign aliens, members of ethnic minorities, political opponents, etc. In 1791, the Cherokee Nation was allocated land in Georgia as a result of a treaty with the U.S. government. The Europeans did not like being near the Native Americans, and they had just discovered gold and feared that their new neighbors would try to take it. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson and Congress passed the Indian Removal Act. Thousands of tribe members were forced into designated land and or concentration camps. During the infamous Trail of Tears, 15,000 Cherokee natives were escorted to their new designated land, but 6,000 died on the journey. Many Native Americans that protest or rebelled were also put into concentration camps. A historical analysis done by the University of Nebraska discovered that Hitler studied these concentration camps and used them as a blueprint for the ones that he used in the Holocaust. Similarly to how the Native Americans were put into camps out of concerns of safety, so were the Japanese. The second wave of imprisonment camps occurred in the mid-20th century. Internment camps are prison camps meant for the confinement of enemy aliens, prisoners of war, and political prisoners. During World War II, there was a large Japanese population on the West Coast, which added to the paranoia towards Japanese people, given mind we were at war with their home country, and they were seen as a potential safety risk to the public. According to the Independence Hall Association, publisher of USHistory.org, in February 1942, President Theodore Roosevelt ordered 127,000 people of Japanese ancestry to these internment camps. The US government expected the Japanese to create a new self-sufficient community in these camps, but with a daily salary of $5 a day and unsustainable farmland, it was clear that this plan was not going to work. Many families were starved, tortured, and separated in these internment camps. These camps finally closed in 1945, and by 1988, Congress paid $20,000 in reparations to each descendant whose family was experienced this ordeal. In addition to internment camps, during this time, the U.S. was simultaneously establishing another form of an imprisonment camp. As we enter the 21st century, we have detention centers, which are compounds where prisoners are detained temporarily as pending determination of their legal status. According to the nonprofit organization Freedom for Immigrants, the first detention center was in Ellis Island in 1892. At the time, this is where immigrants were processed, documented, paid a fee, then be on their way. It wasn't until the Immigration Act of 1924 that Ellis Island turned from an immigration processing station to a detention facility. Today, there are now over 200 detention facilities throughout the U.S. and hold anywhere from 3,000 to 15,000 immigrants. The majority of these immigrants are from Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, and other South American countries. Many of these people are refugees and are trying to seek asylum due to violence or instability in their home country. Similar to other camps, there have been reports of sexual harassment, abuse, and family separation within these centers. Nonetheless, the U.S. government is currently working to pass legislation to properly handle immigration along the southern border. In sum, over the course of US history, there have been three main waves of imprisonment camps. First, the Native Americans in concentration camps in the 18th and 19th century, followed by the Japanese internment camps in the 1940s, to the present with South American immigrants in detention centers. This is a recurring theme throughout history within the US and around the globe. There's a current situation in China where they're detaining people who identify as Muslim. As of today, there are several active detention centers in numerous countries in every continent. This type of institution is established all over the world and will continue to be used in the future. Thank you.